so now we're going to talk about solving multi-step and variables on both sides inequalities. So these are just like equations, and we need to keep in mind the same rules we learned yesterday. So the first thing to do is to distribute and then combine like terms if possible. Okay. The second thing to do is to move the variables to the left side. Typically in the past with equations, we could move them to the right side, but if you move them to the left, we're going to save time because we're not going to have to flip the problem around at the very end anyway. Okay, because I already know my variables have to be on the left side for inequalities. And then we're going to solve the two-step inequality normally, remembering that if you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, you do have to flip your inequality sign. So let's look at some examples. So here are some examples of multi-step inequalities. So the first thing to do is distribute or combine like terms. So I don't see parentheses, so I can't distribute, but I do need to combine like terms. So let me circle -3 and -7, because they're both constants. And -3 minus 7 is -10. Then I'm going to bring everything down. -6n greater than or equal to 8. Okay. So now I have a two-step problem where I'm going to plus 10 on both sides and get 18 less than or equal to -6n. I'm going to divide by -6. But what happens when you divide by a negative? Your inequality sign is going to flip. So I'm going to flip that inequality. I would get n. And then I would get -3. Okay. Once again, I can't graph this yet because my variable's on the right side. So I am going to flip this whole thing around and write n and -3. And then that inequality sign was eating that -3 or opening up to it. So I need to flip that as well. So my final answer would be n is less than or equal to -3. So I'm going to graph that. Close circle on -3, and then shade to the left. Okay? So everything to the left of a -3 would work for that inequality. Alright, on number 2, I see some parentheses, which means I'm going to distribute. So I would get -4. And then -2 times 6 would be -12x. I'm going to bring down plus 3, greater than, equal to, -85. Next thing, can I combine anything on this left side? Yes, I can combine a -4 and then a +3. So -4 plus 3 would be -1, and then I'm going to bring down everything else. So -12x is greater than or equal to -85. So now I have a two-step problem where I'm going to add 1 to both sides and get -12x is greater than or equal to -84. -84 divided by -12 is going to be a 7. But what happens when you divide by a negative? Your inequality sign flips. That's a +7 on the right side, and then an x on the left side. So since my variable is on the left, I can go ahead and graph. I'm going to go close circle on 7, and I'm going to shade to the left. Okay, so everything to the left of that 7 is a solution. So -100, 0, 3, even 7 is a solution. Alright, so those are examples of multi-step. Okay, so now we're going to get to the variables on both sides. If I could scroll down. Okay. So, variables on both sides. Like I said, we could subtract 3m and move it to the right, but if I move my variables to the right, I'm going to have to flip the whole problem in the end anyway. So to save some time, we're going to make sure our variables go to the left first. So the opposite of a 4m would be -4m. So I'm going to -4m on both sides under the like term. The 4m's will cancel out. 1 minus 4m is negative 1m. Bring down minus 3, greater than, and the 1. So now I have a two-step problem that I recognize, and I need to plus 3 on both sides. 3's will cancel. Negative 1m is greater than 4. Last step is to divide by negative 1. When you divide by a negative, remember, flip your sign. So I'm going to flip my inequality sign right off the bat. Get m, and then 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. So I can now graph, because my inequality is on the left-hand side. It's going to be an open circle this time, because it's not equal to it, and then shaded to the left. Okay. So negative 7 is a solution, negative 5 is a solution, but negative 4 is not a solution. Negative 4.1 would be a solution, but remember, negative 4 cannot be a solution. Okay? All right, let's try some more crazy examples on the back. All right, number 4, I have variables on both sides, but I've got a lot more terms in this left side, so let me see if I can simplify anything. I can combine like terms and do a 1 and a negative 8. So 1 minus 8 is negative 7. And then I can bring everything else down. So minus 5x less than negative 7x plus 5. So now I have variables on both sides. I'm going to plus 7x over here to bring my variables to the left. So plus 7x plus 7x. Negative 5 plus 7 is a 2. So a 2x. Then bring everything down. Less than 5, negative 7, and that 2x was a positive. So a two-step problem where I'm going to plus 7 to both sides. 5 plus 7 is 12. Less than 2x. Last step is to divide by 2. So x is less than 6. Okay, so my variable's on the left side, so I can graph it. It's going to be opened on the 6. And we are going to shade left. Okay. All right. One more wowzer of a problem. So, this left side is simplified, which is good. This right side is not. So I need to distribute first. Negative 6 times n is negative 6n. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. Okay, so now I need to bring everything down. So bring down negative 3m plus 40, that less than, and then do not forget that n. We did not use that n. So now I still have a lot of terms on the right side. Let me see if I can combine anything. I can combine an imaginary 1n minus 7. So 1 minus 6 is going to be negative 5. N. I'm going to bring everything down. Plus 36, less than or equal to sign, negative 3n plus 40. So now each side is simplified, so I can start to move my variables to the left by plussing 5n. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2n. Bring down plus 40, less than or equal to 36. Subtract 40 on both sides. 2n less than or equal to negative 4. And then the last step is to divide by 2. And remember, it's okay if that 4 was negative, but I divided by a positive number, so my sign is not going to flip. N negative 2. So n is less than or equal to negative 2, is my final answer. So close circle on a -2. All of these are shading left for some reason. I don't know why. So shade left. So those are variables on both sides and multi-step. Why is it going up? Multi-step problems. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, it's time to practice. So, goodness, where's it at? Nope, don't see it. Where's it at? I don't know which iExcel it is. Oh no. Look on your paper. It's on your paper. So look for advanced inequalities and then variables on both sides. Thanks for watching.